So what are you looking forward to online meeting of ASEAN leaders?
Oh, this time is very important meeting because it's online, of course, and Vietnam is a big showcase because they will prepare for the post COVID-19. So ASEAN has to get very serious. So there are some certain issue, certain priorities that ASEAN leader will tackle. Number one, I think, will be issue related to enhancing capacity of ASEAN member to counter the virus. So these priority will involve some sort of established network of experts so that ASEAN experts working on virus can get together in the future so that when this kind of emergency happen, they can get together fast. Because after the virus outbreak, ASEAN country has been exchanging information and best practices. So that is very good, but they have to prepare for the future. So they must set up a network and a pool of experts. So this is one priorities that they have to enhance the ASEAN member capacity. And there are also other areas in exchanging information because each country has its own system of receiving information. So there are some discussion that maybe in the future ASEAN have to set up focal point in each ASEAN country so that they can send information fast amongst member countries. So this is one of the priority. Number two, you have to help ASEAN people in trouble because there are a lot of ASEAN members who live in the third country. For example, what do you do if you are Thai living in a country without Thai mission or embassy? So you need ASEAN member to help you. For example, consular office of ASEAN member like the Philippines, we have office in certain country, or Indonesia. So you, the ASEAN leader must find ways so that they can help citizen of ASEAN country in the third country. So that is very good. And also they must find way to allow ASEAN member to travel again. So at the moment, ASEAN member only discuss about travel bubble with the country that have money, investment like ASEAN plus 3, Korea, Japan, and China. Nobody talk about ASEAN member yet. I think Singapore will raise this issue because Singapore would like to see each country set up some guideline, because of the levels of management against the virus. So these are the things that ASEAN will look at. This is a second priority, the so-called green lane. The third one is also very important because during the COVID, ASEAN countries suffer from socio-economic impact. So how can you reduce this kind of trouble for the future? So ASEAN must make sure that overall climate for trade is free, there's no tariff, there's no barrier for investment. That kind of thing is very important. So ASEAN leaders have to contemplate. Another issue,
lot to discuss.
Of course, another issue.
Mostly about COVID-19.
Yes, of course, this is a showcase for Vietnam because Vietnam so far has been very successful in combating COVID-19 and actually has made itself famous. So they want to make sure that ASEAN come up with a very good action plan. And I think the next priority also is equally important. We need help from dialogue partner. So ASEAN must have a very good common plan so that they can present to dialogue partners so that dialogue partner can contemplate and provide assistance. And of course, economic recovery plan in the future that ASEAN leader had to contemplate. I think ASEAN leader know how to attract foreign investment, how to attract local business, SME, to invest more, and that the linkage between ASEAN connectivity has to be revised. So I think these are the major, apart from other issues, there are other regional issues that ASEAN has to discuss, but the focus will be on COVID-19 and the post-ASEAN.
But looking back, Khun Kavi, how do you see the ASEAN countries cooperate in the fight against coronavirus? Was there any concerted efforts among them in fighting the pandemic?
They were. I think they were at the official level, and I think now ASEAN leaders need to be more serious so that they can deepen their cooperation. For example, we're talking about setting up network of experts to collaborate on maybe future on research, to do something more on vaccine, and make sure that the information that you send is speedier, faster, because now you're dealing with fake news, disinformation. So ASEAN leaders for the first time are talking about, listen, we need to establish some focal points so we can exchange information and verify whether this is fake news or not. You know, this is genuine. So they have to deepen the information exchange and the collaboration. And in the futures, I think there will be more activity related to cybersecurity, because we are moving to the digital technological world, and the use of IT and digital will feature very much in ASEAN connectivity. So I think ASEAN will have to deepen cooperation even more.
So there is a positive side to the pandemic, right? Making ASEAN seeing the need to strengthen their cooperation.
Oh, definitely, right? Definitely, especially on e-health, especially on emergency. And other thing is that they realize that sectoral body have to collaborate with one another. And I think this virus, this pandemic, really has encouraged ASEAN to move forward, to go beyond their own frontier. Because if your country is well alone, it's not enough. You need to make sure that the whole community of ASEAN are also in good health and also good care.
And what about the role of Thailand in ASEAN meeting this time? What should Thailand put as priority to push forward?
Interesting. Thailand has a big plan. Of course, Thailand Prime Minister Prayut has already offered, 10,000 test kits for all ASEAN members.
Yeah.
But they have not yet delivered. Okay. Number two.
Big promise.
Yeah. Number two is very important. Thailand realized that in order to combat with COVID-19 in the long term, you need rescue fund. So Thailand was the one who come up with the proposal to set up the COVID-19 rescue fund. Very good. So the leader have to approve the TOR. At this moment, senior officials are working on TOR because Thailand has proposed this a few weeks ago. Now several countries, dialogue partner, ASEAN is very good in attracting money from dialogue partner. Korea has already contributed 5 million. And China also, Japan is thinking about it. So the way the fund is working is that the Thai suggests that they should get some money from the Thailand, the so-called ASEAN Development Fund, take maybe 10%, so that we can use it for COVID-19 related project. But some other member countries said that, some certain priority has already been set. So you reprioritize, you have to change certain regulation. This is especially true for the funding that we receive from the so-called ASEAN Plus 3, Japan, Korea, and China. So these are the two things, and that Thailand playing a very big role. And also Thailand wants to support a special meeting between ASEAN leader and China so that they can discuss the COVID-19.
So that would boost up Thailand's position in ASEAN.
Yes, Thailand has always played very active role, leading role in ASEAN, not to mention last year, which was a very important year for Thailand leadership. And Thailand continue to push forward the agenda of sustainable development and also strengthen cooperation with dialogue partner, which Vietnam has already taken up. As you can see, Vietnam has a very good theme this year because Vietnam wants to promote a cohesive and responsive ASEAN, which come at the right time, because that's exactly what you need to deal with COVID-19.
But as far as you know, How keen is our Prime Minister on ASEAN? Does he attach great importance to the role that Thailand can play in the ASEAN?
Oh, definitely. There is one thing that you can say nice thing. I repeat, nice thing about this Prime Minister, that he is very serious about ASEAN. Actually, he loves ASEAN. Actually, he knows that ASEAN is useful for Thailand. That is why last year, the ASEAN Summit has been very successful because Prime Minister followed the roadmap set for ASEAN very seriously. There's no misstep at all. And I think when the historian look back as the Thai chairmanship last year, they will have a good word to say about Prime Minister Prayut, on various things, especially try to promote Thailand collaboration with ASEAN, leave no one behind, that sort of thing. And also he's very forceful in pushing India to join the RCEP.
That's right.
They have
try very hard.
Personal dialogue telephone. He really pushed, and he also has a very good personal working level with other ASEAN leaders. For example, he met with the National Security Council of America, who came here, discussed about ASEAN-US relation. So at that level, he has been quite effective. So I was so surprised indeed, looking at him and realized that he was very serious about ASEAN.
What about his chemistry with some of the ASEAN leaders? Does he have any special relationship with some of them in
I
particular?
think he worked very well with most of the ASEAN leaders, with Vietnamese leader Nguyen Xuan Phuc. They laugh together, they joke around when they pass over the Patpon, to the next chairmanship. That kind of thing happen all the time. And if you know that during the summit, when Thailand was chair, Prime Minister himself was able to stimulate discussion on his own, sometimes without the note from the foreign minister or from other senior official.
So you mean that his performance on the ASEAN stage has not been very bad?
Oh no, I will give him B+. Indeed, a lot of people, the problem with his performance in ASEAN, and very few people know because they lack publicity about him, and very few people write about ASEAN, in general. So it's very difficult to focus on what he has done. And also at the time, Thailand has to encounter various domestic issues. Very few people focus on his role. Besides me, which I watch him very carefully, he followed every step according to the roadmap designed by the ASEAN department step by step, and he read all the document. So that was very good indeed, actually.
It could be the fault of his publicists who haven't worked hard enough to try to portray him in that light that you just mentioned.
That's right. Because I think the government's public relations office has not utilized this. There are a lot of good things that happened last year, and his role in pushing for many ASEAN projects, which has not really highlighted. For example, Thailand was quite successful working with Indonesia in pushing the ASEAN Indo-Pacific concept, which I think should give full credit to Thailand and Indonesia, but very few people write about it.
This time it will be the first time that ASEAN Summit happened virtually. Do you think it will make it more special or less special?
Well, I think it's the substance that matters, because ASEAN will have the opportunity to meet later this year. So this time they will discuss very serious matter, which will be the action plan about the post-COVID-19 ASEAN. And as you know, documents-wise, there are only 10 documents that they will consider. The most important is the chairman's statement from Vietnam. And the second one will be the vision statement on the cohesive and responsive ASEAN, which Vietnam would be very proud to present its own vision of future ASEAN. So substantive-wise, I don't think it will be any less than previous summit. And I think they are waiting to meet each other later this year in November, face to face. So there will be a lot more to discuss. This time, it will be very business-like. So it's only 2 hours on Friday. Start at 8:30 and end at 10:30 sharp. And this year,
That's very short by ASEAN standard, isn't
well,
it?
normally it's about 2 hours because this time senior official foreign minister have time to work among themselves. They don't have times for retreat, so senior official will do themselves.
Yeah. And what about the agenda that other agenda sensitive issue like South China Sea or other divisive issue among ASEAN will still be highlighted?
Of course, they will discuss. It depends on certain leader who want to discuss the issue of their concern, because this is the issue related to ASEAN. Any ASEAN leader can raise anything. So you have the Korean Peninsula, you have the decolonizations of North Korea, you have South China Sea, you have climate change, you have the ongoing trade war between China and the United States, and of course ASEAN leader will be very interested to find out what ASEAN colleagues think about the impact toward the overall economy of ASEAN, especially in the post-COVID-19, because ASEAN has to find a way to respond to this global economic recession. And furthermore, I think there are other issues, for example, RCEP, what would be the future of RCEP, because all the members are planning to sign this year RCEP with or without India. So I think this will be one of the big issues. And then there are issues that related to ASEAN's activity program, but there will be one special activity about empowering women in the digital world. And I heard that New Zealand Prime Minister, popular Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern. Jacinda Ardern will participate in online discussion during the session in the afternoon on Friday. So we will see.
Yeah.
So Kavi, on the issue of the coronavirus pandemic, has any of the ASEAN countries reacted to a demand by some of the countries in the West, the US and Australia especially, for an international inquiry into the origins of the virus in China?
As an institution, ASEAN have no position.
But individual countries?
Individual country, I think it depends on each member. ASEAN do not force anyone, And Thailand does not have any position actually, because Thailand support World Health Organization and always accept World Health Organization explanation. I think most of the ASEAN member do follow WHO analysis.
So we have something to look forward to. And how are you going to attend the meeting?
Well,
you just watch online?
We just, of course, we follow whatever that will come out after 6:30. There will be press conference. I think it will be exciting one, because for the first time, ASEAN has to show the world that ASEAN is really relevant after the crisis, that ASEAN has to be better, that ASEAN has to be more dynamic, to show the world, especially after each crisis, I hope.
And how has Vietnam been doing as a chair of ASEAN?
Oh, very serious. I think Vietnam has done a good job. Vietnam actually was the first one to lock down the country. They start early. This is why the Western world really applaud Vietnam government's very stringent program. Now, Vietnamese citizens can enjoy everything like normal. They can go to soccer game without any mask, can do anything like normal life, So it's very unusual. While other ASEAN countries are still struggling with lockdowns.
That's right.
Yeah, so opposite from Singapore.
And Indonesia.
Yeah.